I always wanted to get the results instantly. For example, I always wanted to get past my exams by studying half an hour just before the just before the last night of the exam, and in many other things. But after some time, I came to know that a very famous author, Malcolm Gladwell, has written a book, The Tipping Point, in which he described how little things sometimes can make a difference in an individual's life or in an organization's success. So in his book he described how little things can make a big difference. The tipping point is all about how little things can make a difference. In this video, I am going to describe one example which Malcolm Gladwell has described in his book, The Tipping Point. So let's get to the example. He gave the example of a very famous brand, Hush Puppies, very famous brand of shoes, Hush Puppies. He starts the example. He says for Hush Puppies, the classic American brushed suede shoes with the lightweight crepe sole, the tipping point came somewhere between late 1994 and early 1995. Brand had all The brand had been all but dead until that point. Sales were down to 30,000 pairs a year, mostly to backwards outlets and small town family stores. Wolverine, the company that makes Hush Puppies, was thinking of phasing out the shoes that made them famous. But what happened next that then something strange happened at a fashion shoot. Two Hush Puppies executives, Owen Baxter and Jeffrey Lewis, ran into a stylist from New York who told them that the classic Hush Puppies had suddenly become hip in the clubs and bars of downtown Manhattan. We were being told, Baxter recalls, that there were resale shops in the village in Soho where the shoes were being sold. People were going to Ma and Pa stores, the little stores that still carried them, and buying them up. Baxter and Lewis were baffled at first. It made no sense to them that shoes that were so obviously out of fashion would make a comeback. We were told that Isaac Mizrahi was wearing the shoes himself. Lewis says, I think it's fair to say that at that time we had no idea who Isaac Mizrahi was. By the fall of 1995, things began to happen in a rush. First, the designer John Bartlett called. He wanted to use Hush Puppies in his spring collection. Then another Manhattan designer, Anna Sui, called, wanting shoes for her show as well. In Los Angeles, the designer Joel Fitzgerald put a 25-foot inflatable basset hound, the symbol of the Hush Puppies brand, on the roof of his Hollywood store and gutted an adjoining art gallery to turn it into a Hush Puppies boutique. While he was still painting and putting up shelves, the actor Pee Wee Herman walked in and asked for a couple of pairs. It was total word of mouth, Fitzgerald remembers. In 1995, the company sold 450,000 pairs of the classic Hush Puppies, and the next year it sold four times that. And the year after that, still more, until Hush Puppies were once again a staple of the wardrobe of the young American male. In 1996, Hush Puppies won the prize for Best Accessory at the Council of Fashion Designers Awards dinner at Lincoln Center, and the president of the firm stood up on the stage with Calvin Klein and Donna Karan and accepted an award for an achievement that, as he would be the first to admit, his company had almost nothing to do with. Hush Puppies had suddenly exploded, and it all started with a handful of kids in the village of Soho. How did that happen? The question is that how did that happen? Those first few kids, whoever they were not deliberately trying to promote Hush Puppies. They were wearing them precisely because no one else would wear them. Then the fad spread to two fashion designers who used the shoes to peddle something else. The shoes were an incidental touch. No one was trying to make Hush Puppies a trend. Yet somehow that's exactly what happened. The shoes passed a certain point in popularity and they tipped. How does a $30 pair of shoes go from a handful of downtown Manhattan hipsters and designers to every mall in America in the space of the 2 years? Now, this is the question, that how Hush Puppies tipped and got the fame without the advertisement, totally depending on the words of mouth. Now, Mr. Gladwell has answered this question in this book, later in this book. So, we will explore that in our coming videos.